Hello, my sweet. I have come back to you. Yes, deeds. Yes, dears, indeed I have. Margot, you're crazy. I know. It's been so long. The people, they may have forgotten us. I know. Do you want to sit up here with me? It's been a long journey. But here's Jumbo, Mumbo, Possum. Everybody, prepare to board for flight. Jumbo. Jumbo ASMR. Jumbo on the mic. Got the little motor going. All right. We're going to need another chair, huh? Oh. We'll try not to crash while watching Jumbo MC. Hell yeah. Well, she's hopped down, so... Oh, but she's just right down here underneath my feet. So, I have been on the land, living off the lamb for days now. No contact with you all. I'm so sorry. I will be better. I will do better. But on a positive note, we got a lot of stuff done in the past week. I really wanted to spend the last week pretty much trying to get the shop and the studio to where I can do the thing, as opposed to continuing to try and to half-ass parts. I need a whole ass. That's definitely the saying. Whole ass or no ass. Thought of all kinds of great stickers. I'm gonna start going to that really hard in the next day or two. But one big thing that I wanted to show that I'm really excited about, and I will bust out the other camera to better show these. What the heck? I have a bunch of stuff on my desk that I don't need on my desk right now. Oh my goodness. Okay. Gardner, good morning. Good to see you. My boys. So these are sticks. These are all of the sticks that we had in the banana chip thing, which that might not track. So we had a whole bunch of sticks in a box of banana chips like this, but without the banana chips in there. And I filled it with glue. I don't believe I have any more of them. Still cooking. Nope, I do. Okay. That actually would have been a lot easier than showing the banana chip box. So here is what this looked like months ago. A couple months. Well, technically it looked like this a couple days ago. But I put them in there. It was shortly after I got back from Adepticon. This is one of the first little experiments that we started to do. And this is a continuation, I would say, of... I don't want to say a continuation because I'm not going to throw his pride in with my shame. I need to raise my seat. I've been out of the game for so long, kids. Okay. No, I don't want to group in what I'm doing with Kari of Iron Sleet. I respect him very, very much. But absolutely influenced by his work. By so much. His work is fucking phenomenal. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, so these sticks, I soaked them in wood glue or PVA glue. These, I'm pretty sure, these all got the PVA glue, which is just Tight Bond, all-purpose white glue. That is what This is I went with this because I like Type Bond for wood glue reasons, like doing actual woodworking. So I thought, hey, I bet they make good white glue for home shop and crafts, and they do. So that is why I got this, and it's also I'm forever buying in bulk if it's cheaper. I have so much stuff I need to show. I got so many things done. We're about to start really cooking with gasoline now, boys. Which here's a fun little story about cooking with gasoline. I didn't know that you can cook meth. That making meth a lot of times involves cooking gasoline. Sometimes, depending on how you do it. And I found this out because a coworker of mine, his name was Doug, and I wonder what that guy's up to. But but I worked with him at Best Buy for a little bit, and I don't remember what we were talking about, but he was just like, oh yeah, man. He was like, I was outside my backyard, and I was just like, I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm just standing there. And next thing I know, my neighbor's house just explodes. The whole thing just blows up. And I'm like, oh shit. And I get like knocked on the ground. I'm like, oh hell no. And then there was another explosion because they had all these cars in their front yard. So like all these secondary explosions start going off. And then when the news shows up, they're like, yeah, it turns out there was a meth lab. And I was like, I knew it. And I always really liked that. I always liked that story because one, I thought, man, cooking with gasoline, that's fucking crazy. That just right out the gate, you're not doing a good idea when you are boiling gasoline on a stove. That should be a sign. But, what do I know? I don't cook meth. I just make sticks. And that's where I'm coming today. I don't know what made me think about that. I think it was the trees, maybe. I don't know. That guy Doug, I just remember distinctly him telling me and seeing the look in his eyes of like, yeah, that wasn't a lie. Like that guy was just standing outside and then his neighbor's house was just on fire. And so were the trees and the cars. It's just like, that would be wild to see. It probably would make you be like, oh shit, I'm going to tell people about that. Made me tell people. Hell. Anywho, so this is crazy because these are those sticks that we put out in that piece of plastic like a month ago. And I'm going to have to bust out the Nikon and like get the actual setups going so you can see these. But I just want to show them at a very basic level, like how insanely stupid smooth those are. The inside of these sticks, because they've been soaking in white glue for like a month, every bit of the glue water mixture has just been slowly absorbed through the pores of the wood. Like all of these, it's wild too. Like I can look and you can kind of see, I don't know, I'm trying to get, there's almost like a light. I'm trying to see if it will catch the light at all, but the flat part of this where I broke it, it is so smooth. It's bananas. Like, well, not smooth as bananas, but you know what I mean. Like it is so insanely smooth. And the only reason I realized that it is so smooth like that because it is on a almost cellular level hardened. So that core in there, and this is another really weird, like, hey, this makes me think of this. But lickety splits, does that track? Does anybody, if I said, man, lickety splits, I gotta get me some lickety splits. They are so good you might fight your brother to the death and destroy your home. Fighting who gets the last one. That's neat. Lickety splits is a snack, I think, from the 90s cartoon Angry Beavers. And since I have been working on these, I was just like, every time I see this and I see the inside of these old trees, it looks like it did on that cartoon. Like, where they were just essentially, it was like a log, because the Angry Beavers, they were these two brothers, Daggett and Norbert, that got kicked out of their mom and dad's beaver den. So they have to go start their own den. 90s cartoons, Nickelodeon, hell yeah, it was so good. There were so many amazing characters in that show. That show was not appropriate for kids. More and more I'm thinking about it, but yeah, one of the biggest parts was they had these snacks that they would constantly fight over called lickety splits, which were like they looked like a log, and it was like split in the middle. When you would split them in the middle, that's where like I guess the part that they ate. But they're beavers; they eat the whole wood, I guess, or maybe they just chew it. A storm is brewing. I can hear the rain. It's actually raining pretty good. So I thought about this weekend doing a couple of different little bits, and then I decided on doing none of them, as you can see. But I took that time, and instead I replanted a Johnny, which I will show that. I did not do it at the time, like on stream, because one, I really did not want to see my dead fish, and I was really afraid that was going to happen. And if I was going to, I just at least didn't want there to be a recording of me experiencing that, especially a live one that I get to like look at forever. That's a dark, honest truth there. And then two, I don't want to shock it. I feel like it's already in shock from the transplant, so I'm just going to give it like maybe a week or two to see if it's doing okay before I start trying to start working on the branches, because I've wire trained it to some extent for the container that it was previously in, but now it's in a much bigger one. Now it's in its forever home. Yay. Yeah, a Johnny is my tree. It's right there. Which, hey, actually, you know what? I got you here. I'll show you. This is a Johnny. This is a Johnny right here. Yeah. That's pretty much right. But yeah, I will absolutely do a better tour whenever I have my microphones figured out, that's the other thing. Appleseed. Appleseed? I don't know if there was any Appleseed things, but there might be. Or maybe it kind of looks like a seedling. It does kind of look like a seedling. It is really storming out there. Feels really good. Oh yeah, I also shout out to my boy Chris, Subbar Chris. We got our little kitty, and then I also built this guy. And the reason that I was going to do that is I was thinking, man, I've got these two 112 figures. What can I do with them? And that storm is really brewing. Johnny Appleseed. Oh, now I get it. I don't know why I thought of Appleseed. I thought of the anime, which I've never seen, but it's very much referenced. Johnny Applesauce. That's why they call me Johnny Applesauce. Man, I'm so excited. So either Tuesday or Wednesday, I think we were going to try to do our first podcast recording, or at least that is what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to work on linking up with Sam as far as setting up days to start recording. I'm also going to get in contact with Johnny today as far as setting up the other podcast. I'm really excited because it's taken months, but we're finally at the point that it's just like, okay, if I need to spray something, I just pop it over in the spray booth. And if I need to film me doing that, I can just pop over in the spray booth and we can film it. If I want to play something, we just pop over there. And now I got tables set up for it, which I don't want to give too much away, but I'm pretty pleased. I'll show that later. I took some pictures, but it's not going to be good as good as it is in my mind until I have the lighting in. But that is what I did on. No, I'll get my tool so I can show. It's over on the cart. So last week I did mainly record a couple sessions and then release them slowly, make a buffer in case anything comes up. That is a good idea, Gardner. I'm going to write that down. I also erased this. It had a whole bunch of information about when I was going to be bodily mutilated. I have an appointment. And it's just been written on here for 3 months, but I've said, hey, you know, this thing actually is pretty handy. Maybe I should use that to keep track of things. Record a few. We're going to record a couple to create a buffer. Record a couple. Create a buffer. Very good advice. I need to work on that. I'm so excited because like I'm finally done with I need to have this over here and that over there so I can like have the things where they need to be so I can build like in a logical way, if that makes sense. And I understand also I feel like when I'm like, oh man, it took me 3 months to like put shit in my basement. It's just like, it's not that the shit wasn't in my basement. It's the completely changing around how everything was organized, replacing the shelves that I had, moving everything, creating very defined spaces. That is what I did in my basement. Our basement has no walls except for, you know, the 4 outer walls. And I split it in half and then into another third, creating rooms with my shelves and my cabinets, as opposed to walls. And they eventually will become permanent walls, but that's later down the road once I've, you know, been able to actually do something with all of this. And that was what the goal was. The goal was to keep the studio and shop functioning while building this setup that will allow it to be done as smoothly as possible. But I couldn't just stop everything and then go from there, because then we would be like where we are now, but I wouldn't have the castle or all of Grimdale printed or all the things that we're going to need to do in the next bits. But it's really, really, really exciting because we're here now, BB. And with that said, one of the props that I have always, I mean, it's the first prop. It's the first prop that I started to make after I started playing music again. And that is my King Piss skull. This is supposed to be a skull that you would find in the entire vibe that I'm wanting to give with my area. I'm trying to, the easiest way to explain it is, if I love Shane and Ryan, Shane Madej and Ryan Bergara, and Stephen Lynn of Watcher. I absolutely love those three and the content that they make. And I want to be able to do that for the things that I enjoy and the things that I like. Because I know that there are a lot of people out there like me that would enjoy that. So that was the whole thing. And all of their, like, you know, Watcher or their BuzzFeed Unsolved, they had such good little set designs. I really wanted to create something like that myself. So yesterday, I mean, it's been an ongoing thing, and it's still ongoing. We're still working on it. But that was one of the biggest things. I think breakthroughs was yesterday sitting down and just making myself, okay, build the set. So that is what I did yesterday. So I think once you see it, hopefully someone will catch the reference, but I wanted it to look like the Mogwai shop. When you tune in to watch me show you how to play a game or, you know, review something that I like, I want it to almost kind of look like you walked into that, like, weird little shop in Chinatown, and like you're stumbling around through all these shelves of like weird shit, and then you just find this like weirdo in the back corner, and he's just like, "Oh hey, want to learn how to play a game?" And it would be me. But yeah, so Gremlins, the Mogwai shop. That's absolutely the vibe that I was going for. A bunch of crazy occult knickknacks like behind me, and then me in my this little brooding chair. It's looking pretty good. Not to toot my own horn, but toot a toot 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 toot. So originally, the horns that were on that were these guys, which, if you were asking yourself, yeah, I would say it was within the first 10 minutes. Within the first 10 minutes, yes, I did say, "Hey, everybody, look, I'm Magnus." And yeah, very quickly I said, "Yep, that's just as stupid if it was my own armor as if it was Magnus's. Don't put horns on your boobies. That's just dumb." But yeah, so now I got these cool booby horns. I'll probably do something with them. I don't know. But they used to be on this head, and now he's got antlers. But they are going to be... I've started to use a little bit of epoxy sculpt to smooth it out. They will be blended much more. The idea is, again, I want it to look very much... it's almost a nod or an homage to Lawrence's skull from Bloodborne. So I have it sitting on top of a small wooden table that is circular. It looks a little ornate. I'm going to add height to it. It will kind of be raised almost about like that, off of a little pedestal that will be surrounded by candles, and then it's going to have candles on top of it as well. So the idea is I'm going to get it looking as much as really skull-like as possible, and then I'm going to paint the platform to make it look like a little platform. And I'm going to get real candles, and I'm going to light them and let them run to hold this thing in place. And then once it has got the look that I want it to have, that is when I'm going to start switching to fake candles, so we can preserve the look of it, or just not even lighting, because honestly, I'm not sure how fake candles will really work, or how real candles will work with film. I feel like they'll be pretty inconsistent. And also, yes, I did fuck with his teeth right in the very front. Any of you all who noticed that? They were too filed down. Is that the skull that Amelia is at? Trying to think of who Amelia is. That sounds familiar. That is a fun noise. Man, that's definitely a thought that I've had to realize and kind of come to terms with. I do a lot of ASMR stuff that I don't mean to do, but I just like to do it because I like the sounds too. I kind of had to blow into that hole. It just seemed right. The old skull hole. I don't remember. Is that the skull that Amelia is at? I don't. Oh! Oh God, is that not her name and I'm a fake gamer? No, you are. You are. I am so sorry. Yes, that is Lawrence's skull. Yes, Vicar Amelia. Yes, sorry, the vicar. As soon as I was like, who the hell is Amelia? Vicar Amelia. Yes, of course. I don't know anybody named Amelia. Who the hell is that? Man, watching my hair flail is pretty fun. Off to the side here. It's just like, I'll be talking, I'm just like, and I just see something crazy. I'm like, what the fuck's even that? Oh, it's me. I'm just a big old goofball, I guess. But yeah, no, the skull, yeah. Exactly, yes. I really wanted it to be an homage or a nod to the Vicar Amelia, the skull. Like when you get there, there's just this it's an altar. But the idea is to possibly have a co-host for different things, maybe or maybe not. Physically here, more of like the occult, a spiritual, and undead, a demon, King Piss. I kind of have been playing with the idea of at different times having special guests that are either A, puppets, or B, dummies that I have made. And that is absolutely the part of me that loves puppet history. And see, this is where we're going to get into, I'm not allowed to have puppets. So that's the thing. Or let me rephrase this. I'm not allowed to have ventriloquist dummies. I don't know where Kelly is on puppets. I might not be able to do that. So I can do voiceovers in the background, but I'm not allowed to have a puppet. And it's a self-preservation thing. I know who I am. I'm pretty sure the current people here. Honestly, maybe you don't know. I'm gonna share this with you. A very, 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 very fun thing that I grew up with, thinking if your show has a Muppet, I'm in. Dude, that's it. Like I know what the people want, and I want to give it to them. I want to give them what they want. That's why you guys are going to get your podcasts. You're going to get, everyone's like, oh, it's a hobby podcast. I'm here for the bullshittery. I want Phil to tell me, I want Bill, whoever Bill is, actually Bill, Texas Bill. Get him. I'll get him. I'll get him good. And we're going to talk about Muppets, Bill. Tell me your favorite part of the labyrinth, Bill, and why it's the part with the 2 doors. I like that part a lot. That, man, it's, it's hard trying to like contain all these thoughts that are just popping into my head right now, because I got to tell you, I was about to start ranting about making puppets and Muppets and things. And then I started to think about how pumped the movie The Labyrinth got me. And it's really wild. I did not watch The Labyrinth as a child. I watched The Labyrinth as an adult. I dated a girl. Man, that is so fucking weird. So I dated a girl that on paper, you would look at this person, you would be like, okay, I think I know who this person is. But then you flip the paper and you're like, okay, I did not expect that you have a trebuchet that you built in your backyard. And I did not expect you to like The Labyrinth and The Hobbit. Like, everybody's different, but it's just one of those things that there is like nothing about this person like was any bit of like, I think nerd things are cool. Like they were very, I did a lot of people that dunked on the things that I liked a lot. But one of them also built a trebuchet, which is really fucking cool. And she had some crazy scar on the inside of her mouth because, like on her inside of her lips, because her, one of her like exes had like pulled the pin and it fucking like lifted and fired the trebuchet. So this like 75-pound trebuchet fucking lifted and split her face open. Like whenever, anywho, that's a story about a girl I dated and how she built a trebuchet. That had to do with something. It had to do with something. It had to do with me talking about being a nerd, a crazy nerd, and being a puppet. Oh, the things that I grew up with. It would have had to have been before I was 10 because my little sister was not born. So I was definitely young when my grandfather was a truck driver. And I've told this story before, so if you've heard this, I'm sorry. But if you haven't, you need to know this because it's a very key part of my lore and into my humor. I had a grandfather that was a truck driver for many years. And I did not know at the time that he was doing what he was doing. Man, that makes it sound like he's a murderer. Until he got back. He got back and he stopped being a trucker. His car that he drove all of a sudden had this puppet in it. And it was this horrifically ugly puppet. And its name was Ralph. He goes, oh, that's my buddy Ralph. That's my buddy Ralph. That's my buddy Ralph. Hey, Ralph. And he would just talk to it all the time. He was constantly talking to this puppet named Ralph. And it was this, I've got a picture of it. Oh, I don't know where my phone went. Which is going to be a problem when my alarm goes off in like 20 minutes. There it is. I see it over there. So anywho, so Ralph, hey pal. That's what he would always say. Oh, that's my pal Ralph. So Ralph is this bird. It's this, I mean, it absolutely, it's from the 90s. So it's like the time period think Ratfink, if you know Ratfink, like the hot rod thing, like just real, not not soft around the edges, not Care Bear stuff. This is some like real. It doesn't look fun. Not really child appropriate. So there's this real creepy fucking puppet named Ralph that my grandpa keeps in his car, and he just drives around with. It's just like his co-pilot. And I I was raised thinking that was fucking normal for so long. And it took, I mean, I was an adult when I realized, holy shit, my grandpa was like, I love ratty ass puppets. Dude, exactly. Like, I wish the only thing he bought this at some truck stop. I know that. I wish he made it. But at the same time, the fact that I want him to have made it versus bought it, it's just like it's a level of insanity. There's when you build the puppet, you are exponentially crazier than someone who just bought it. Like it's the uncanny valley, and it's the dip into, I want to play in this space because this space is really not like a healthy mental space to play in for too long. It's just like, oh yeah, I want to dabble in that. It's so easy to get lost in there. And the next thing you know, you're a crazy puppet guy. And you don't even know it. I've seen it happen. But yeah, so my grandpa just drove around in his semi truck for years with this puppet, talking to it all the time. That when he stopped being a trucker, the puppet had to come into his car with him so he still could talk to it. And I found out, like, as an adult, eventually my grandmother made him like get it out of the car and stop talking to it. But it was one of those things that she was cool with it for X amount of time. It's just like, you can talk to a puppet for X amount of time. Are your war dollies not just puppets? I think a key part of a puppet, and this is probably where like the madness comes in. I think a key part of the puppet is it needs to be able to move its mouth when I talk for it. But I say that, and I talk for our cats all the time, and I just pick them up and I'm like, oh, hey, everybody. I don't move their mouths. So you got a good point, Possum. So I got this out because I was going to show you guys. This is I know Possum knows what this is because he works in a place that sells these. But you use this, they might just be puppets. I can't tell if it's still raining or not. If the storm's still a brewing. Man, it feels so good to be streaming again. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. This thing. So what I did was I went over where I was sitting, and it's kind of like here. So I have, and I don't have them on right now because we're just doing the hobby hang right now, and we're not fully armed and operational. And also, it's hot. I didn't want to blast myself with those lights this morning. I think refraining from puppets is one of the most self-aware things I've heard, but I think you're correct in your assessment. Thank you, Josh. I did not know that you were here. But I absolutely... I hate how absolutely right that is. Like, that is truly like yep, that guy knows me. This man knows me. That does look like something we sell. Yeah, so it's shit. It's for making your yard level. It's a leveling string, a leveling like little string. You put a float on here. I didn't use it for that. So these cameras are not level. Fucking love puppets. Yeah, dude. Love puppets. And man, yeah, that, I don't know. I will say, I would like to think that of all the people that I met at my previous jobs, in my previous walks of life, I would like to think that they're like, yeah, that guy's real weird. But he is very self-aware. I don't think he's a danger to anyone. I'm very aware of the things that I'm like, yeah, I can't fuck with that. I was once asked if I had a third arm, what would I do? Oh, man. I wouldn't get rid of it. I'll tell you that for damn sure. My grandma had an extra toe and they cut that off, and I wish it was still in the family. put that on a sticker. I wish that toe was still in the family. The amount of, God, just talking with Sam the other, I'm so excited to record a podcast for you all. And the first thing was just, I'd never be alone. That's it, Gardner. That's the thing, is if you have a puppet, you're never alone. But that's the really fucking scary thing, Gardner, is if that's it, if that's all that we're like, okay, well, if I just had a puppet, I'd never be alone. You don't need the puppet. That's the really scary part. And that's why I'm like, puppets have to have a mouth. I have to be able to put my hand in them, and I have to be able to talk for them. Otherwise, if anything can be a puppet, everything is a puppet. And my life is about to become horrifying. Which, with that said, I cannot stress enough. As you know, I kind of showed a little peek over there. I've talked about my brooding chair. I have thought, okay, well, if you're going to have a co-host, you're going to need another chair. And I cannot stress enough how much thought has been put into making a chair that may or may not be a puppet. I've just watched too much Pee-wee's Playhouse and Eric Andre show, and it's just like, I can't stress. I don't know if everyone else understood what my rant has been, but it's just, I wanted to buy and set up my house so I could make my own shows and do my own thing and just do what I want and kind of make a Tim and Eric awesome show, like a Tim and Eric awesome show / I think you should leave / Pee-wee's Playhouse that is all very much grounded in my love of tabletop gaming. But at the end of the day, it's just kind of just unfiltered madness. That was a very big priority on the list. I wanted to be able to do that more than anything. I also want to show fun games and cool stuff, but the nonstop, just crazy thoughts that pop into my head, that I'm like, man, I want other people to have to deal with that. I wanted to be able to just drag that out of my nightmare scape that lives in my head and put that onto the internet. And I think we're just so close. It's so great. I still can't get past these sticks though. That is just such a clean break. It's just, yeah, crazy. These guys, I was starting to talk about them, but what I was going to do with those, I started to think it was because I was listening to Hivescom, and I was listening to the episode that Phil is finally back on Hivescom, and I was so excited. I was like, oh my goodness, Phil. And then they started talking about something, and Phil got on the conversation of Marco, where are you? I heard you. There you are. You haven't even gotten up in your like tall spot. We're gonna have to figure that out. But Phil was talking about modern day weed and how it is too powerful and it's turning people into psychopaths. And I absolutely agree in every sense. It is too strong, and it's one of those things that if you don't understand how I guess that's the thing. I'm a big fan of all those things. However, it absolutely comes down to the same concept as Always Sunny. When Always Sunny, there is the episode, the gang fixes the gas crisis, and I love the picture of Phil kissing the homie. I need to see. Oh, kissing the, yes, yes, good. I love Phil. I need more Phil in Hivescom. Honey, you have a big old lump hanging out of your hair. Come here. He says, no. I don't want anyone to see. I don't want anyone seeing where you get my little hair tufts. Anywho, so Phil was talking about that, and I absolutely agree. And it comes down to, that's what I was saying, Always Sunny. I'll just count it when it comes out. In the episode, girl, you are being kind of rude. You know we're filming. You know we're streaming right now, unless you want to be in the shop. Okay. So, and here is actually, this is where Jumbo knots come from. That she's not mad because that hurt. She's mad because I picked her up. It's not even attached. But that's where I get jumbo spores. They just come out like that. And if you plant that, this actually will turn into a full jumbo in the backyard, which is why I never plant them. We don't want to propagate. What do you want? Sassy thing. Girl. You come in. She says, well, first of all, it's my stream. Jumbo's morning hobby hangs. We all know that. Dad, keep talking about the psycho weed that Phil doesn't like. The whole thing that I was saying was, it is, and I was thinking about this, that entire game changed once they pretty much got around. And I'm not saying that just for like weed. I like listening to you tell stories because it's like I'm being edged the whole time while you get distracted. I can't stress that. I feel like that is, I've been told that before. And I don't know. I mean, I like it. Good morning. We're talking about psycho THC, psychotic. Which, yeah, that's spoiler alert. That's kind of where my brain went to on here. But so yeah, Phil was talking about that on Hive Scum's podcast. And Phil was talking about that on the podcast. And I agree entirely because as someone that is very pro self-evaluation, anything that like enables you to like think outside of your normal realm in a somewhat safe manner, I'm pro that, and always have been. However, there is a big difference between inhaling something that can produce X amount of, it can only produce a finite, you can only burn a physical like thing X amount of times and it stops existing. Whereas by taking vapes are the problem. And I'm not saying that from a health standpoint. Health standpoint, a vape is exponentially safer on every manner just because it no longer has combustion. Like that is what gives you cancer, period. Like it is bad to inhale smoke no matter what the fuck it's coming from. It's just bad for you. We know that. Now, the way that vaporizers work, and disposables, and this is not just marijuana, THC. This is nicotine. This is anything. Removing the combustion and changing it to where it is now something that you inhale. That you are changing the part that's like, yeah, that just straight fucking kills you. Like this will kill you. The inhalation will give you cancer. It will cause. We know that. We're trading that for absolute lack of control. Like absolute lack of control. And I say that in the meaning of the episode of Always Sunny when the gang solves the gas crisis and they show up and they've got the barrels of gas and they're like, well, how the fuck are we going to know how much gas we've got? And Charlie says, it's cool, dude, I'll count it. And he says, you'll count it. He's like, yeah, I'll count it when it comes out. Like, he's got they're filling up these barrels with fucking liquid gasoline. He's just like, I'll count it. And he's like, you talk to him. I can't talk to him. You talk to him. I can't do this. You can't count that. And that's when he says, that plan you had, that was badass. I love Always Sunny. I could damn near quote that episode almost verbatim. I've seen it that many times. It's so good. It is one of the most well done satires I've seen in a long time. Another well done satire, Pootie Tang. I know you didn't see that one coming, everybody, but man, that I was recently asked. We were asked if we had one movie that you can watch at any point in time, like, and you're like, man, I'm good with that. Pootie Tang is up there because that movie is so fucking funny because of, I mean, almost everything about it. And I guess that's, to me, it's the same thing as like the Boondocks. Like, I love when something is made. I'm about to sign your pity on the runny kind. Cleeper, my Damien. I'm about to sign your pity on the runny kind. What's good, my Damien? I'm trying to sippy tie, my yayo. Wadata, my Cleeper. But yeah, there's just so many parts of that movie that it is, I think, It is one of the best, like, satirical movies I've ever. Wadata, sadate, say sadate and feel a-okay. It's just, I don't know. It's and then I think once it's I fuck. So Pootie Tang, it's in the same space. It lives in the same space, I think, in like art as like the Boondocks, because when the Boondocks came out, I remember when that came out, the amount of people that would come into like the store that I worked at and were just like, no, man, that shit's racist. And I'm like, it's made by black people. Like it's satire. It's satire. It's a joke. You should find this funnier than anybody. It's that. It's I don't know. I think the David Cross character, I think all the characters in Pootie Tang are just so fucking good because they really, I don't know, it's just satire to the upteenth level. And it's wild that it was directed by what's his name? Fuck. He likes jerking off in front of people. He's a comedian, and that's not a funny bit. Man, I don't remember. Louis C.K. That guy. It was directed by him, which is very funny. Like when you find out that he is the person that directed that. But Wanda Sykes is in that and is absolutely. That's one of my favorite characters. I really, really, really wish that she had gotten to be an elf. Which is why. Here's a little fun thing for you. The department store guy in the movie Elf. His name tag says Wanda, and it's because Wanda Sykes was supposed to play that part, and she was going to be the manager, and her name was just going to be Wanda. I always really like that when actors just use their own name. I always find that fun. I never explained this, and we got 2 minutes, so I think this is like the perfect time. So pretty much what I did was I figured out over there where I'm going to be sitting, and then I pretty much took where I was in correlation to, I have these 2 spots that I've put on the ceilings right here. And they are kind of at a 45 from me. And this is just to get lighting right. I measured, it is 5 feet pretty much to like my face when I'm like sitting like right here. And then like when I come forward and I'm like about here-ish, it's 4 feet. And those are like the 2 kind of like distances that I fuck with the most, I think. And that I'm going to be, as far as at least how it looks in the shot. So then I went over there and I figured out where my little chair was, and I took this and I stapled this to the ceiling above where my head would be, and I went 4 feet out, and then I went 5 feet out in 2 different little increments. And then I went to the table that I'm going to be putting games on in front of, and I did the same thing. I stapled it to the ceiling, and I measured out 4 feet, 5 feet. And all the places on the beams where that 4 and that 5 overlapped, that is going to be where I attach. Where are they? These guys. That's where I'm going to attach these guys, which are what go on the ceilings to hold my lights. That way we can have all the lighting that we need over there. And then I also, oh no, it's 7:40. Well, it is 7:40. But on that note, I think there's only one proper way to get you like fully pumped for what's coming. One of the things that I have had on my list to do for many, many, many years, that is now going to happen factually, because having the time and having the setup for it now, there's no excuse. I will give you all the Margot, the jumbo, mumbo jumbo theremin album that you all have been wanting. I built this theremin with the intention of Margot starting theremin noise bands. And essentially all I need to do is to change to where the sound no longer comes out of the speaker, but comes out of an audio jack. That way Margot does not have to hear the noise she makes, but she will just make music and art for us, and I will record it. That's coming. We got all kinds of fun stuff coming. It's about to get real weird. It's about to get real silly. I'm very excited. I was going to say that I'm going to use these for some awful nightmare, little artsy kind of little ideas. I was thinking about what Phil was talking about. Wait, you built a Theremin? Yeah, I built this guy. So Phil was talking about the psycho THC and how it's just breaking people's minds. And that very quickly led me to think of the cyberpunk setting that I want to make in the Golden City and what I would call the people that probably worshipped King Piss and the things that they would probably be addicted to. And spelling out psycho-THC very quickly, it made that visual connection in my head where it's just like, it looks like kind of psychothic, which very quickly turned into psycho-THCC or THICC. It's like psychothic. About to, as if it ain't already. About to, as if it ain't already. But yeah, so I'm excited. They're gonna become some really cyberpunk nightmare kittens that look like they would hang out in the Golden City and just be really dangerous to know. So I'm excited. We've got so much stuff to do today, but I'm gonna go make some coffee and I'm gonna try to get things more and more streamlined. And this week we will be recording podcasts. I'm gonna start making some stickers. I'm gonna start doing the things. It's almost time, my sweets. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm really, really, really excited. We're there. It's coming, babies. So sit pretty. Take care. Thank you so much for your time. As always, I will see you all tomorrow. And we will have more things to show and talk about and discuss then. I hope you all have a good one. Take care. Sit pretty. Bye, friends.